YouTube fam? I'm about to be doing a quick video on how to upgrade your phase cables. And this the motor that was on the rave when it caught on fire, so that's why the wires look damaged like that. And that's one other reason I'm gonna be upgrading this cable. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is adding double the thickness of phase cables. I could just replace it with this, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna double up my phase cables because I'm gonna be upgrading my async to 72 volts. So I'm basically gonna be adding these wires in parallel with the phase cables what's already on there. So if you ever seen somebody do this before, what you basically have to do is open up the motor, pull the stator out. I mean, you can do it with the stator in, but it's best to pull it out so you can work a little more, move around, maneuver the motor more and the wires. And once you open it up, you're gonna clip these wires from the inside of there and pull it out through that hole and basically connect them together with the other wires, put them back down through there, and then solder them to the phase connection points of the windings in the motor. So it's not gonna be too much of a long video, but I'm gonna try to be as detailed as possible. If somebody wanna do this upgrade or if somebody damaged their motor cables, I did a video on that before. So first thing first you wanna do is you wanna have some wire clippers for the clip the wires. You know you need some, what's the name, to take the screws off on the hub. You're gonna need some wire strippers. This screwdriver is for those bits. You're gonna need some crimpers if you're having to crimp anything to connect the wires. You're gonna need a heat gun if you're gonna be using heat shrink. I got some real thick heat shrink. And you're gonna need the cables if you're gonna be replacing them, or I'm gonna describe what you gotta do if you just gonna be repairing them. If you just got a snip in your wire, all you gotta do is clip them from the inside and pull the wire down deeper inside the axle. Like if you look on my channel, you'll see a video of me repairing this because I actually damaged my cables before. But you don't have to get new cables if you damage just right here. And you're gonna need soldering iron and some solder. So that's all you really gonna need to do this. Well, let's get started. Say what's up to my dog. First thing you wanna do if you're gonna be taking the stator off is take the nuts off the axle. Because when you take the stator out, you really just need to take one side of the hub off, the cover off. But you're gonna wanna remove these because you're gonna see let me show you. Once I take these screws out and I pull the stator out, if you don't remove that nut, it'll prevent you from pulling it through right there. So you wanna take this one off too, because when I take this cover off, it's gonna come up over like that. So that's the first thing you wanna do. So basically to take these screws off, you're gonna need a T25 to take these screws off. And remember, if you upgrade it, basically the quickest way to do it is to take the cover off on the cable side. And once you take these screws off, this side of the cover is gonna become loose. And the quickest way to get the stator out, don't be scared to do this. What you're gonna do is put your motor on the ground. Like this. And you basically gonna sit it up like this on the axle, right? And you're gonna put a hand down on each side, this side and this side. And you're gonna get it like this, and you're gonna push down on it real hard. Don't be scared to do it. It's gonna pop right out for you. I'm gonna try to angle the camera so I can show y'all. But what you wanna do is put a hand down on each side like this. Make sure all the screws out and just push down on it like this. You see? It's gonna come up like that. And then you got to stay the right out. And now you could just pull this cover off. That's the easiest way I found to do it. And basically once you got it like this part should, you probably have to nudge it off, depends on how long your motor been on or if you never removed it. But you just want to start pulling this off like this, and it's gonna slide up over the wire. As you can see, it's coming up. You're gonna need both hands to do it, but it'll basically just slide up over here. As you can see, slid right up over the wire. And that's why you want to make sure you take the nuts off, because if you'd have had the nut on, you weren't gonna be able to pull this cover off. And if you'd had the nut on this side, you weren't gonna be able to get that to push through the shell of the motor. And make sure you see how your bearing right here, always check these whenever you open up your motor, because I got one that's damaged. I'm gonna show you. And make sure you look out for this washer right here. What I normally do is just get the washer right here. Sometimes it'll be sitting right here, and be careful because you know there's all these magnets. But I normally just sit it right here so I won't lose track of it. And that way when I get ready to put the hub back in, I line it up like that and slide it through there. All right, here we go. And y'all's probably don't look like this because I worked on this motor before. That's why it kind of look like it's throwing signs up all over the place. But as long as your cable's properly connected and you got everything insulated, you want to make sure you make your job as clean as possible. And this was my first time doing this, so that's another reason why it looked like this. But now that I know to work on e-bikes better, I would never leave my wires looking like this. You always want your wires to be separated and neat as possible in case you need to do some repairs, and you can easily access the 1 or 2 wires that you need to get to. And I think these wires are either 10 or 8 gauge. So I'm gonna be doubling them, and by me doubling them, that's gonna make them like 4 to 5 gauge, something like that. So first thing you wanna do is clean up all the zip ties so you can get access to the wires. Once you clean up all the zip ties, you're gonna snip as close to here as possible. That way you have a little more wire to work with once you pull the cable through. You don't want to snip way up here and pull all this wire through. So snip right here as close as possible. As you can see, 1, 2, and the other phase cable is right there, the yellow. So I'm gonna snip as close as possible. See the yellow one right there? Yellow, blue, green. So I'm gonna snip right here. Boom, boom. Pull the wire through. I'm gonna put the new wires in parallel with these, and I'm gonna shimmy them down here. Let's get to work. Don't be scared to do this, bro, because you can always reconnect wires. That's all you're doing is either connecting wires or disconnecting wires once you got the motor in this setup. I clipped all the zip ties off, so not everything is kind of loose. I clipped each wire, the green, the yellow, the blue one right here. I already had started pulling it through. And now once I did that, I can just pull each wire through, as you can see. The green one right there. Let me get the green one next. As you can see the green one? Come right through. Don't be scared to do this, bro, because all you gotta do is make sure you properly solder these back on there. As you can see the yellow one. Now I'm about to pull that one. That yellow one look like it's a little tight in there. Oh, there you go. Alrighty. Now I just gotta get the rest of the wire insulator that was originally on this wire. I gotta get that out. And I might leave these hall sensors connected. I'm gonna see how much room I got to play with first once I get this piece out of the chamber part. And the way this works is go in on this side, but it come out on the opposite side inside the motor. And if I can slide all the wires through and pull them through like that, then I'm not gonna have to disconnect these. All right, now this is what I'm doing. Now, in a if you in a similar situation like me, where you doing it exactly the way I'm doing it because of the reason I'm doing it, if you take the wires out individually and you have some of this insulated wire was initially on the wire inside the tube, get you some needle nose pliers and slide it down a little and get you a grip of it, and that way you'll be able to pull that insulator right up out of there. And as you can see how thick the original insulator cable was, so I got a feeling I'm gonna be able to maneuver these up and slide those wires right in there. As y'all can see, I done got every wire through there.
Take me through that.
Take me through that, take me through that. Take me through that, take me through that.
I got it on this side, so as soon as I see it, all I gotta do is push it over with the screwdriver a little and grab it with the needle nose pliers and pull it through. And once I got all of them through, then I can play around with them. Pull all of them in a little, clip them, line them up, solder them. It's about right here. So I just cleaned it off because I put a little grease on it to slide it. But as you can see, I got the two yellows. Let me show y'all the two yellows. It's in the way. The two blues right there, and there go the green. So
Pause.
I dare one of you niggas scream out no Diddy.
I gotta see it right there. As soon as I see it right there, I'm gonna grab it with the pliers and put it through. Now, as y'all can see, I got all the wires through. I got my two yellows, two. I got my two blues, one blue, two blue right here. And I got my two greens, one, two. Now, as y'all can see, I'm gonna connect these yellow wires right here together. The two blue, I'm gonna connect the blue last. I'm gonna clean this up and connect this part to the blue. And as y'all can see, this is my green wire. I connect those to the green. Of course, I'm gonna pull these in a little bit, just like these yellow ones. I might pull these inside a little bit more, just so I can turn them a little bit more. And then I'm gonna connect this with this yellow. So as you can see, I got some of this copper wire and basically pulled the wires together, wrapped it around so they can hold it together to help me get a good solder. And now what I'm gonna do is solder this together. As y'all can see, I done soldered the yellow one together. I know it don't look perfect. I'm not the most perfect solderer, but I make sure it's properly connected together. What I'm saying is, I don't know how to make it look smooth as it's supposed to look, but I make sure it's soldered all around it. I stick the solder up on it in the middle part and make sure that connected, so it's connected all the way around. As y'all can see, I'm on the last cable. I ran out of solder. I was only mainly able to do the top part and some of the side. Because basically what I'm doing is, you see how you can still see the wire? What I'm doing is making sure the entire thing is covered in solder where you can't see the separation in the wire. I start from the top, connect them at the top, as you can see, how all three of them connected at the top. And then I start working my way around the side and make sure I do the middle. And then I do up under the bottom. And that's how I normally solder it. But even right now, it's still connected because I test out each part of the wire to make sure it's properly connected. But I'm about to go get some more solder and then put it on there and I'll be done. So I basically got the motor back in. Now I gotta try to maneuver the cables through this. And then I'm gonna put the heat sink on. I'm gonna put the test on there and test it out, make sure everything connected properly. As y'all can see, I washed the motor, but it still got some stains. See how that like ashy stain? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to paint it because I can't do no proper build how I wanna do it, especially on a bike like this and have the back rim looking dingy. So I'm at least gonna sand it down a little and put like 2 coats of matte black and a clear coat on it just to make it look clean. I'm probably not gonna paint the hub. I mean, it's got some scuff marks, but this side gonna have a rotor covering it. And then this side is not really, it just got those like ash looking marks from sitting, and plus it had got sprayed with chemicals. So as you can see, it's still dirty. So I probably need to get some type of like deep cleaning spray to really get all the grease and stuff off it. And I'm gonna see that anyways. I don't want to really put this on a new build chipped up like that. So I'm definitely gonna at least have to paint the rim. But yeah, everything came out good. As you can see, it still got turn in it. So that means everything, there's no wires like internally touching each other. So what I'm about to be doing is heat shrinking the cables probably up to...
Carter, bro. Put it back, bro.
So basically I'm about to heat shrink it probably up to about right here. Cause you can see these wires need to be probably up to right here. Cause the end of 3 of these need to still have some repair done to them. So I'm just gonna heat shrink it. Just put everything together. I'm gonna show y'all how that look. Let me remove this. As you can see, what I did was screen it out as much as I can and put tape on like every other inch or two. And I really taped up right here just so it can be a nice tight fit. I'm gonna end up putting some more like stuff right here to protect this. Probably get like a rubber gasket or something, and also put some silicone just to prevent that from scraping to the side. So I'm gonna end up putting some silicone right here just to prevent this from getting chased. And we're gonna see how this thing go. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the process if I run into any issues. Cause I've seen people do this online, but they mostly don't double them up. What they do is just go up in size or replace the same size that was first in there. So I basically doubled it up. So now, cause I think these probably like 10 gauge, if I'm not mistaken. 8 or 10 gauge wires. Let's just say these 10 gauge wires. And they would be, from my research, it says 2 10 gauge wires would basically be the equivalent of 7 gauge. So it's not 8 or it's not 6. It's in between that range. So it's basically 7 gauge with 2 10 gauge wire. And with that, I'm basically, according to the numbers, a DC amps for that is anywhere from 80 to 120, which would basically keep at a continuous rate of keeping the wires cool. But you know you can do peak and all that, and plus these are phase wires, so from my research, they're supposed to be, when you plug your battery into your controller basically converts those DC amps into phase amps, which is why you see your phase amps are normally higher than your DC amps. So this definitely is not changing the winding of the motor, but it's gonna make the power flow more easily getting to those windings. So it's definitely gonna help out a lot. Not a crazy lot, because having more copper on the windings is much more better. But when you can do it like this definitely helps out. Even if it's a small 10-15% helping out, and it's gonna keep this wire cooler. And especially once I add the steady rate and the heat sinks, it's definitely gonna help me run the motor as cool as possible. And that's gonna help with efficiency, range, and temperatures, and plus run a little higher amperage to, and the motor would stay cool. So basically I just needed this through here, put tape on the end part where it's short at. So as you can see, this how much extra wire I have with the new cables. So what I might end up doing is like folding this in half, and that's gonna make this even with this. So I'm basically gonna have like, the wires are basically gonna be this long instead of that long. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on there, I'm gonna heat sink it.